get through. I have 3 scriptures for you. And when you get them, say, still saved. So we're going to start at Isaiah 43 and verse 19. And then we're going to go to Matthew 27, 15 through 21. And then Luke 19, 28 through 40. Okay? So we are Isaiah 43, 19, Matthew 27 and 15, Luke 19 and 28. When you get it, say, still saved. I don't know, I gave you 3. Amen, amen, amen. Luke 19, 28 through 40. Matthew 27, 15 through 21. And Isaiah 43 and 19. When you get them, say, still saved. Still saved. You ready for me to just move on? Just say, still saved. Amen. All right. So I'll read your follow. We'll have to get through these scriptures here this Palm Sunday. So Isaiah 43, 19 is what we read on last week. See, I'm doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland. All right, we're going to go to Matthew 27, 15. Now, it was the governor's custom at the festival to release a prisoner chosen by the crowd. At that time, they had a well-known prisoner whose name was Barabbas. So when the crowd had gathered, Pilate asked them, which one do you want me to release to you? Barabbas or Jesus, who is called Messiah. For he knew it was out of self-interest that they had handed Jesus over to him. When Pilate was sitting on the judge's seat, his wife sent him this message. Don't have anything to do with that innocent man, for I have suffered a great deal today in a dream because of him. But the chief priests and the elders persuaded the crowd to ask for Barabbas and to have Jesus executed. All right, let's go to Luke 19. And Jesus had said this, he went on ahead going up to Jerusalem. As he approached Bethphage and Bethany at the hill called the Mount of Olives, he sent 2 of his disciples, saying to them, go to the village ahead of you, and as you enter it, you will find a colt tied there, which no one has ever ridden. Untie it and bring it here. If anyone asks you while you are untying it, say, the Lord needs it. Those who were sent ahead, those who sent ahead went and found it just as he had told them. As they were untying the colt, his owners asked him, why are you untying the colt? They replied, the Lord needs it. They brought it to Jesus, threw their cloaks on the colt, and put Jesus on it. As he went along, people spread their cloaks on the road. Now, when he came near the place where the road goes down the Mount of Olives, the crowd of disciples began joyfully to praise God in loud voices for all the miracles they had seen. Blessed is the King who comes in the name of the Lord. Peace in heaven and glory in the highest. Now, some of the Pharisees in the crowd said to Jesus, Teacher, rebuke your disciples. I tell you, he replied, if they keep quiet, the stones will cry out. Amen. right thing is, again, stop fearing the new thing. Stop fearing the new thing. Let me again go to the tales of Chicago and my upbringing. Amen. Let me say this, that now that the basketball championship is over with, we now, I'm talking about the NCAA championship, the tournament, amen. I consider that the real championship, amen. They don't play for money yet. Look, as we now get into draft and these things, I reflect on one of my favorite football players, Donovan McNabb. Why do I love Donovan McNabb? Because he's from Chicago. Long-time quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles. Hall of Fame quarterback. We loved everything about Donovan McNabb and were excited when he got drafted high in the draft. What we were not ready for is that when Philadelphia drafted him, the Philadelphia Eagle fans booed the draft choice. Okay? Now for us, you don't boo nobody coming from Chicago. Amen. Not unless they're a pastor or a preacher. Amen. So we were thrown by that because the administration and the front office was excited of the pick. But the fans didn't like the pick because it wasn't who they believed they wanted or needed. Right. He was not their choice. So it was their belief that if the franchise was going to be saved, it had to be on their terms in order for it to be saved. Simply because of they remember the glory days of the Philadelphia Eagles. And so the formula that they had for winning, they wanted to repeat that formula again. And this black quarterback from the south side of Chicago could not possibly fulfill the needs to bring prestige and grace back to this football franchise. The administration was doing a new thing, right? They saw a new vision for the future. But it was the challenge of this new thing and this new way of thinking that caused tension amongst the fans. He ended up being the best quarterback in their franchise history. Had done great things and a lot of great things. But it started off with this tension of what people believe the quarterback in the draft choice should look like versus what they would feel would be necessary in the way the game had changed. Now, that is the primary challenge that Christ faced in his earthly ministry. Okay? He was challenged because the elites and those who had been in this for so long didn't like the choice of a Savior, of him. They were looking for something else, right, that would make them feel good. Right. It's not that he wasn't doing great works. It's not that he was not affecting and inspiring those who had been stepped on. It was that he did not look like what they wanted And when they gambled on should have been, they wanted an appearance of David, or at least somebody carrying a staff like Moses. But what it did is it further exposed the elitism and the dogmatic instability of the Jewish elders at the time. Because they wanted a leader and leadership to go into their own standards and not the standards of the Lord God. But how short their memories were. Okay. Because how much they loved Moses. Moses was a murderer and a stubborn. David was just off the farm as a shepherd. So before these glory things happened, there were humble beginnings for each of these leaders. But yet they could not accept the young man from Nazareth. So it was the challenge then, church, of Christ from the very beginning of whether he could be accepted. The works were not the issue. It was the status of him as the Messiah. Simply because he didn't look like what they wanted him to look. He didn't do like what they wanted him to do. He didn't act like what they wanted him to act. He was just not what they wanted. And it even descended here, church, into his future followers. Because they had trouble dealing with a Messiah that could come from the ghettos of Nazareth. Right. So they didn't want to deal with it. Come on, the Bible is clear when it says, what good can come from what? Nazareth. Yes. So it's not just the elites, but even the fishermen had trouble dealing with the fact that this indeed was the Messiah. And then the disciple asked, right, what good can come from Nazareth? It was a classist and elitist statement that even the disenfranchised were caught up in this sad elitism of what a king had to look like. This continues, church, to be the challenge of the church. We get plagued with new opportunities, but we run them away with old stereotypes.
Yes, Lord.
Oh, what does a good Baptist look like? What does a true saint act like? What kind of preaching is this kind of teaching? It must be this way because that is how we've already always done it. What kind of songs are the choir singing? What kind of clothes are we wearing? In the same way that the Jews limited themselves with a dogmatic mindset. Here then we kill Christ every day with our own elitism and our own stereotypes that says what a true saint is supposed to look like. Help me.
Come on now.
Yes, I told the story last week of growing up. We would always see in church, it would be a young man that would come in with old, outdated clothes and come in the back and just praising the Lord and giving God praise. As I grew, because we wouldn't see the brother for so long, we were kind of pushed back by him. But as I grew and as I realized that these were young brothers who got out of prison, who met the Lord inside a jail cell and couldn't wait to get out of the jail cell and got to a church and found another jail cell.
Speak that, tell the truth.
And then was not accepted but rejected and was pushed away by the arguments that go on between saints. When there are people in prisons who need to be saved and we get caught up in our dogmatic worship and our dogmatic meetings, our dogmatic praise to where people can't even see or get in past the mess that we put up for them to see. come from Nazareth. Oh, this we understand, and as we look and as we grow here at church, the understanding of the hindsight, the revolutionary nature of a Jesus Christ. God was clear that he was going to do a new thing. He announced it in this scripture that we went over in our previous lesson, but even as we talked about it today in Isaiah 43:19, look, God was clear he was going to do something different. A baby that was not born in priestly class, but with God's hand still upon him. A fugitive from an out-of-control, self-centered king, but protected by wise men who said, we're not going to deal with the king, we're going to go home a different way. Knowledgeable of scriptures and well-versed at the tender age of 12, and then the beginning of a ministry with a wild man in the wilderness named John the Baptist. No, the scripture said, the voice of him that crieth in the wilderness, prepare ye the way of the Lord, make straight in the desert a highway for our God. It didn't say what he was going to look like. But he sure fulfilled the role, didn't he? He was a voice that wouldn't shut up. In fact, his mouth ended up, he told the truth till his very end. One of the things he's known for is baptizing his cousin. God did a new thing. Yes, it was not a look upon the scripture, but a focus upon the people who carried it out. Come on, we looking for a voice, we just don't want it to be John the Baptist.
Yes, Lord.
We looking for a virgin, but we don't want the one engaged to be married to the carpenter. And certainly we don't want them living in Nazareth. Right. It would be the tension now. And here is where the tragedy of the church comes, is that we want the new, but we want it our way.
Our way. Okay.
Come on, let the new take its time so we can revel in the comfort of the old.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, come on, church, because it makes us much more comfortable. Come on, give me the same songs, I'm comfortable. Give me the same preacher, I'm comfortable. The same kind of sermons, I'm comfortable. Give me the same church of my youth, the same pastor, and we give him up out the grave, that we put him up, and so he can preach, and that way I can be comfortable. Just like the Eagles fans will give us the same quarterback that we had in our glory days, but please don't give us this young man from the south side of Chicago. Come on, church, God is asking to do a new thing. The entire drama here, church, of this resurrection is seen in the tension of these scriptures. If we read them for what they are written, the new thing was the new king. For those who cheered for him, keep in mind the scripture is saying is that those who cheered for him were his disciples. Their qualification for cheering for him was this praise, the king coming in on the donkey. It was those who had seen the good works. They had seen the miracle. They were aware of the potential and the eternal salvation of this, the new king, the one from Nazareth. And the Pharisees yelled, we read the scripture, for Christ to rebuke them. Herein is their fear of the spiritual revelation. Come on, the more Christ rises, they eliminate the need for the high priest. So there could only be one high priest.
Only one. Say that. Only one.
He would eliminate their prestige and their social interaction, their confirmation with the Roman Empire. He would eliminate it. The more he rose, the less they would go down. Their response was, rebuke them. Here it is, people of their own will and freedom throwing their cloaks down and throwing the palms, throwing all of this down on the road because they want to publicly say, this is the king. This is indeed the king. This is the thing that we have longed for. This is the thing that the scriptures have proclaimed. And here it is, a man bold enough to get on the donkey and to ride in and accept the fact that I am the king and that I will probably die at your hands, but I will not if a church wouldn't run from itself.
Yes.
When they come against us, we would stand up and say, if God be for us, who can be against us? When they come down on us and when they come between us, we can say, no weapon formed against us shall prosper. Isn't that the church, the one that can say, I forgive you, I accept forgiveness, I love you, I accept your love, I will be your sister, I will be your brother, I will stand up against gossiping, and prejudice, and I will make my stand and say, Jesus is the King, he is my coat, right over here. Is this not the time in which God is calling us to be able to do this? No, these men had fear of scriptural revelation arriving right now. They would lose their grips on power. It would forever change the Passover, because here now you no longer had to get an animal lamb. Here on the donkey was the lamb.
The lamb. Say that.
It would be sacrificed for our sins. And to this day we would revel in the blood of the what? Right there was a new thing. The opportunity to embrace it. But instead they challenged it and tried to kill it. Yes, we see this in the Gospel of Matthew. Pilate is confused with his authority at the moment. Well, they put a whammy on Pilate. Pilate had a government position. He had the backing of the Roman Empire. He just didn't want to deal with nothing like this. It was like a festival. Let me give you somebody to kill, and I'll go on about my business. But even him, now, he hadn't seen nobody like this Jesus. He hadn't seen nothing. He had questioned him in his loyalty and emperor and governor fashion to be able to break this man. But even he had to proclaim, I find no fault in this man. Yes. So now he is being put on the spot because he has a decision to make. And certainly if he puts this man up against the murderer Barabbas, certainly this will give him an opportunity to let this good man go. Oh, no. It shows the heart that there's something deep on the inside. And I got to say this. You can't keep turning your nose up at people that's non-saints. Amen. Because there's some good and there's some spirit in people that we just need to work with. Give them time. And don't turn your nose up and turn your back to them. Something had, Christ was in his presence not long, but something had changed in time. Said, I find no fault with this man. Yes. But now look at here now. Here now, those who were against the change and against the new thing, the chief priests and the elders persuaded the crowd to ask for Barabbas and to have Jesus executed. Are you kidding me? Come on now. The chief priests, the ones who would be most familiar with the scriptures, right? Come on, the elders, the ones who would be most connected to the people. They would have to know that Christ had traveled and the blind could see, the deaf could hear, the paralyzed, the lame could now walk. What harm did he do to anybody?
Yes, that's the question right there.
What did he do to them? But only sat there, even at 12, turned the tables on them and taught them what the scriptures meant. And now here they are walking through the crowd. Come on, spreading the news that you need to choose the Barabbas so Jesus can die. That's the tension of Holy Week. It's a back and forth between them. It's this thing of like, we have to destroy him. And God is like, you're not going to get him. Jesus is like, I'm going to pay a price, but I'm going to rise up against this. I'm going to tell my followers. And I know it's going to be dark. I know it's going to be dreary. But in 3 days, I'm going to be up out of this. In 3 days, I'm going to rise. Just don't give up your faith. Still believe. Come on, the least threatening to the social order was to keep the murderer instead of the deliverer. The deliverer now would continue to challenge them. Remember now, the deliverer was the one who trashed the temple because it had become a haven for
That's
worship.
right.
This was the one who gave the okay that you could do something on Sabbath. Come on, let's get rid of the new thing. There's no way that one could be of Christ and not receive the innovation that comes with it. It's the fear that you may have to love someone who doesn't necessarily like you.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, help me, Holy Ghost. The fear that you may have to forgive someone that you feel is unforgiving.
Amen.
The fear that you might have to change. The fear that you may have to be uncomfortable. It's the fear of that kind of lifestyle of change. Oh, they often tell the story about this young lady. She got saved and she went to the class and they said, look here, you're going to have to let that man go that's in your house. You're going to have to get your life together and get the drugs off and all of this. And she said, wait, is there like a first level save?
Okay, that's a good one.
Do I have to do all this at once? I mean, can't I start off here and then go up here? It was an attempt to be able to hold on to the previous life that you have to let go. When you bring the mess into your saved life, it gets messy. You have to rid yourself of it in order that you can see the gospel. No, come on. Look. The entirety of the crucifixion is the indication that change comes. As much as you put force up, and as much as you put distractions up, change still comes. If I go back to my quarterback brother in the beginning, Hall of Famer, he changed the game. He was innovative in his play. What turned from boos actually went to cheers because they saw what he could do for the game. Right? People from Chicago started liking Philadelphia again because they started treating our boy just a little bit better. So it's the thing there that it's gonna happen, but it's important that we don't put old formulas on new problems. Here we go here now. Even with that, the game is still the same in this. He still got to throw a pass and somebody got to catch it. Right. The field is still 100 yards. So you got the innovation, but you still got to score a touchdown. Right? The ways in which you do it now may be a little bit different, but still the same goal is we got to get people saved. Come on now. We'll go back to Luke. We'll be ready to get out your way here. Look, the Pharisees wanted rebuke and silence. Okay? Christ said that look, you can say what you want, but even if I silence, the rocks will cry out. Isn't that something? Look, it's Christ is saying, look, if all of you abandon me,
Okay.
I can trust a rock. That's a mark against our humanity and the fickleness that we possess. I can rely on a rock. He didn't say, look, if they shut down, I can always go get my family. No. He said, look, if they shut down and they don't say nothing, I'll go and get the people that I've healed in the past.
Okay.
He said, look, I can trust and I can rely on a rock because I know this rock will praise me and won't be bothered by some simple elders or some simple Jewish Pharisee. But I'll get a rock and I'll rely on that rock, and that rock will give me everything I need. Oh, he's saying you can't stop what's already started. The king is coming. You can't stop the king. His life is an indication of it, church. Come on, church. He was born in a manger, the dirt and dust of a manger.
Okay.
You couldn't stop him coming.
No.
There was no room in the inn. So God found a manger around animals. And I still birthed a king there. At 12 years old, in this temple at 12, teaching the elders. I was sending him at 12 years old to show you what you're doing ain't right.
Okay.
The king is coming. I found his cousin in the wilderness. I will send him past any priest, past any pool, and any temple. I will send him out to the wilderness to John the Baptist, whom I blessed. They'll baptize him, and I'll send a dove down from heaven because the king is coming. I'll put him around hungry people.
All right.
And I'll give him the power to feed. I'll put him around blind people, and I'll give him the power to make them see. I'll put him around deaf people, and I'll give him the power to make them hear. I will give him the power to raise up a paralyzed man. And if you dare, I'll send him in there and make him rise again. The king is coming. Oh, I will give him the power to turn fishermen into evangelists. Women with several husbands will become evangelists. They will rock this world. They will send the gospel to places in which we've never seen. The king is coming. I put him on the humility of a donkey. Let him ride into town in front of you so-called elites and Pharisees and elders. And I tell him to tell you that I got rocks, they got a louder voice than you. The king is coming. Oh, I know what Pilate will do. I know what they will do. But he will have power under the weight of a cross. He will have strength under a whipping and a beating. He will have stamina under being spit upon and talked about. The king is coming. Oh, I will send him up Calvary Mountain. They will spread him wide, lift him high, nails in the hand, nails in the feet, the piercing of his side. The king is coming. Oh, you cannot stop this. Oh, he'll die on fire. Oh, he'll fight in hell, but the king is coming. But on Sunday morning, it's over. The stone is rolled away. Oh, and why does thou seek the living amongst the dead? He is alive. The king is here. The king has arrived. He rides into town. Throw your cloak down. Throw your palm down. He's alive. Salvation is ours for the taking. Salvation is ours for the giving. The king lives. He lives. God, thank you for the king. Thank you for the Alpha and the Omega. Thank you for the bright and morning star. Thank you for the good shepherd. Thank you for my everything. Thank you for my all in all. I'm so glad the king found me. He found me in the dust and the dirt and the mud. I'll be out your way. I'm glad he found me and he picked me up. He washed me off, made me white and clean. I stand with the king. Do you stand with the king? Come on, let's praise God for it.